Guys, as I said, we've all been waiting on it. It's April 2021, and only one thing we're waiting on. We're waiting on Vision Builds Kingdom. Of course, I am here with the man himself, KillaTooma. Now, Tooma, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Happy today. Happy that we are on the stretch to the album. You know what I mean? The long-awaited, most anticipated album.
So the people have been waiting. We finally know that it's coming out on April 23rd. You dropped a little teaser there with that video, and of course we're gonna get into that as well. But it's been highly anticipated, as you said. But the name of this album is Vision Builds Kingdom, and that's where I want to start. I want to start as to what does that really mean and where did it really come from?
Okay, so that's a good question. A loaded question, actually. So the whole premise of the album started from the day of and moving forward after Oma. You know what I'm saying? Like devastating memories. Like I hate to think about it, but from then, like I was so shocked as to what I was seeing. Like I just didn't believe it, and I didn't see a way forward. Like at the time, I just didn't see how in hell we could bounce back from our devastation, like what Oma bring a check. So,
like honestly, I definitely get that, but that answer caught me off guard because, and I think that's always been you, Tooma. I think a lot of things really catch us off guard, and just the backstory and all that you put into just, you know, the meaning of things to you. But I'll let you continue.
Yeah. So, and thank you for that. So after that, and the days start to go by, we such a resilient people in the BVI
that we are.
Exactly. Even though something like that happened to us, we ain't just sit around and just hold our heads down. You know what I'm saying? We get up and we start to clean up immediately. And like a month into it, after 2 months, I just starting to see subtle changes here and there. And it dawned on me that even in your worst times, no matter how bad you think it is, you have to have that belief and that vision that you can get past it. You know what I'm saying? Over time, that's the only thing that have to pass for you to get in a better place in many different instances.
I could definitely relate because I remember, you know, going into town those first few days after Oma, and it felt hopeless. It felt like, the BVI that we know, like how will we ever get back there? And you know, how much years later, maybe 3 to 4 years later, this is a new BVI, but I would say it's a better BVI because we built it, you know what I mean? So
right.
I definitely get that.
From up again, like we did it initially and then we do it again after Oma. Like it's amazing to see. We still got some ways to go, but as I said, vision builds kingdoms. That time have to pass and we gotta continue putting in the work and we be in a better place.
Definitely.
But directly, as far as the title, it comes from Street Legends. One of the hit songs on the third pillar. The line goes, cause Father time bring wisdom, vision builds kingdoms with legit income, your personal dominion. Check. Yeah. So that line within itself, I just feel was like the premise of the album, because from when I started writing, which was the day of or the day after, I ain't 100% sure. Like I was one of the ones to keep my roof, the fortunate ones.
Okay.
So I was able to sit down, you know what I'm saying, and ponder on my thoughts and was able to start putting things together, because that's like my therapy. Like whatever I'm going through, if I could just sit down and write out my feelings, that would be my therapy. And
Wow.
in that moment, that's why we're doing. That's where There Oma came from, the number 2 track on the album. So I was basically asking Oma, like, what all of this about? Like, why you had to come and do this to us? That is like, it was unbelievable, man.
You mentioned the Third Pillar, which was your last full album. How long has it been now? It's been about 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
It's been
June will be 4 years.
It's been 4 years, okay? And I want to ask, why such a long pause?
Okay, so in this instance, it was just a couple of different things. Like, right, not too long after Oma, I moved from the BVI to Florida. So in that whole time period, it took about 6 months or so to even get settled in, to know what it is I can be doing up here and whatever else, right? So that had take away a bunch of time.
Right.
Then a little while after, even though we started to make the album, like from a month or so in, I ended up going to Atlanta. We ended up laying some tracks. So we did begin from the beginning of 2018 or so.
Right.
But yeah, so as time went by, all kind of things just keep popping up. Even though I still writing, we still working on the music. It just, nothing wasn't lining up right for us. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Life happens.
Exactly. And then furthermore, around the same time period when we trying to make the album in 2019, I got my second daughter as well. Okay. So it's like nothing wasn't lining up right, just right for us to actually go full-fledged into it, because I didn't want to half-ass this one.
Of course,
you know what I'm saying, for sure. Because the Third Pillar came out June 2017, Oma happened September 2017. So that they just threw everything off. All our plans, we had plans for so much videos, doing this, doing that, but it was like, that's it, you know what I'm saying? So this time I really wanted to be focused 100% on doing it, and we finally get it. That's why we're here right now.
Definitely. But I want to talk a little bit more about the Third Pillar. Of course, we're here to talk about Vision Braille's Kingdom, but honestly, I think the Third Pillar was a brilliant piece of work. I still listen to it to this day, and I think right now we all know what's been going on in the BVI. And for me personally, I'll say it, I think that people haven't deciphered or took the time to really listen and zone into what you were saying on the Third Pillar. So my question would be, now seeing what is happening, all that is developing in the BVI, what would you say about that, pointing to all that was said in the Third Pillar?
That's a loaded question, because I've had this conversation a couple times actually, with whether it's Danz or Jacob or Sham or whoever, where I feel as though I wrote this album and then shortly after it started to play out in our eyes in many different instances, you know what I'm saying? So that is the pressure the offshore industry getting, whether it's the
pressure, the Third Pillar.
Right, exactly. The bad media, that, I mean, it is bad, but it just seemed to have exploded.
It did.
In the past couple years. So it's funny that many of the things I spoke about, especially the song Offshore, which is very loaded, as you say, because I'm trying to explain how each pillar of our unique economy works, you know what I'm saying? And whether or not people would like to admit or acknowledge the fact that the Third Pillar played a significant role at some point,
of course,
at least in our history, you know what I'm saying? And it was also,
if we're really being real about it,
right, you know what I'm saying? And not just leaving it there, but in the same song, I'm touching on the fact that we do need an actual legal, quote unquote,
Right.
because we can't just be surviving off a two for this long, one of them getting pressure, or tourism is not doing well, especially with COVID right now. So what we left
Exactly.
with, you know what I'm saying? So that it kind of ties back to offshore, me saying that we need something else, whether it is agriculture, something else, you know what I'm saying?
Something. And I know that you're saying that, I don't know how it feels for you now seeing that, you spoke about this and then it basically happened. But for me, and I'm not tooting your horn or anything like that, but for me, honestly, and I'm gonna call you Jacoy in this moment, I see you as a visionary. I feel like if people really listen and understand, like, a lot of things could have been, I don't want to say avoided, but better prepared for. You know what I mean? I really do think so. But
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Like, I'll tell the viewers now, like, definitely a big fan. But like, as we move on, what do you think? Like, what's the evolution? It's been 4 years. What's the difference between KillaTooma, the third pillar, and KillaTooma, Vision Builds Kingdom?
A lot is different, but there's still similarities.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We could start from physically, you know what I mean? I made that drop off a little weight, grow some hair, cool. But mentally, naturally, over time, and I'm such a well-read person and I do so much research that over the years, whatever I research or whatever I into, it accumulates. You know what I'm saying? I retain that information. So I'm able to come back now and try to give it to the people. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, on Vision Builds Kingdoms, even though I'm doing that, I'm still touching on the streets in a different way though, because in many different instances, I'm giving the cause and effect thing. Like, I'll bring you up, I'll tell you what it's like to be the hottest on the block and doing your thing and running the streets. You know what I'm saying? But again, let you know exactly what's going to happen if you continue on that path. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of was like that on the third pillar, where I was like probably 60% in the streets and then giving you the little gems 40%. But this one, I would actually say is about 50-50.
Okay.
You know? So I kind of finding the right balance.
Okay. Sounds good. So you spoke a little bit about what the people can expect, but what else can the people expect from this album? Is it, tell us about the feel, what was really going through your head while making it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so this is a great question, because the whole time I was making a project, I just had on my mind, like, what's next for me and how I'm going to get there. Even though I'm here today, you know what I'm saying, in my current situation, what steps should I have to take to get to where I need to be, or the visions I've been having, or the imaginations, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, this one is like a motivational, to me, mostly motivational, because I know that I'm not the only one that may feel certain days like, man, I don't want to go work today, or I don't feel like doing this or answering to this person. I wish I was doing my own thing. You know what I'm saying? So I know I ain't the only person to feel that way.
Trust me, you're the only person.
Exactly.
Nope.
So through the music, I reaching out to many of the people that feel that way. Of course, we have the songs for the ladies, we have the songs for the streets, but a lot of the songs are mainly motivational, you know what I'm saying? Uplifting.
Awesome. So in a conversation that we had prior to this interview, you told me that this is probably your most personal work to date. How so?
Because I'm touching on real stuff, like I ain't glass over nothing on this one. Like I left it all out on the table. I talk about getting engaged. I talk about my kids. You know what I'm saying? I talk about personal experiences actually I dealt with. Like I was an open book on this one. The third pillar was more like with the word play, saying things that might pertain to me and stuff that might not.
Right.
But this one is really direct, like it's really personal. That's what I was saying, like it's so personal. Like this interview, you can ask me anything at this point.
Like I think a lot of people look forward to that. And I really like that it has it you know, the different aspects. They have the street, they have, you know, for the ladies, they have motivational. But I think a lot of your fans would like to know, who is Jokoy? Yes, we know KillaTooma, and KillaTooma continues to surprise us with each piece of work. But who is Jokoy? You know, Jokoy is the family guy, you know, engaged. Like I think definitely looking forward to that. But we can't cover that in this interview. That would take all day.
I appreciate that a lot, because to me sometimes that part of me, it'll get overlooked a lot, even though that's the part of me that builds KillaTooma.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So Jokoy is, as you say, a family man, well-read, very intuitive, trying to always figure out like why, for instance, this religion think this and this one think this, or why this politician, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of whys and hows in my mind every day. So I'm very well-read because of that. And I'm very laid back too. Like I ain't the one to be rah rah ray ray, it's KillaTooma, this that, look at me. And that just never been me. And I actually have a song where I touch on that very thing on the album, where you would expect a name like KillaTooma for the person, for that name to be like this boasting person, when I'm the complete opposite in many cases. I mean, when I'm on the stage, it's a whole different aura. On the stage, it's different. But me just walking around or being on social media here and there, that's mainly Jokoy, the lead, but cool, always laughing.
Honestly, I definitely could relate. I think that, and I've told people before, I think Kyla, and knowing Kyla personally and knowing Kyla Kinisha is definitely two different things, you know? So I definitely could relate to that. But we're gonna talk about this video you dropped.
Life is about striking a balance between family and work. Kingdoms cannot be built in a day and can only be built on a strong foundation.
You dropped a video, you dropped it like a bomb. I don't think it came out of nowhere.
Which I like doing.
Fresh out of nowhere, but this one is Crown, okay? So awesome. And I think, do you think that this basically gives a good view of what Vision Builds Kingdom is coming with?
I would say so, but it's all about the context. I mean, even though we're putting this out as a single, when you do listen to the album and you listen to the song prior and after to Crown, you really understand how it all fits in the puzzle. Like none of the songs was just done and put on the album like it was. This is what I'm saying, going
strategically.
Into right, exactly.
So Crown is not on the album. It's just a
no, single. It is on the album, but it's being released as a single until the album is released. Just just to go along with the video. Because I don't want to put out a video and then still have people waiting for the actual song. You know,
makes sense.
Yeah.
But people have been raving about it, but for me, really listening and watching the video, what I get from it is family, friendship, teamwork. And I want you to tell me, what does these aspects of life really mean to you?
Well, it means everything to me. Like, that's why I do this. You know what I'm saying? I go hard for, you know what I'm
The
saying, the
team.
team.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Including family as well, because that's the structure that holds me up. You know what I'm saying? So from my parents to my fiance, daughters, Mike, Dan, Sham, Jimmy, the whole clique. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? We together from kids. Like, I 30 years old now. Like, I know all of them for more than 10 years at this point. So that's real love. You check, it means everything to me.
Right. Like I definitely could feel that through that video and um through the narrative of that song. But just
And also, not to interrupt you,
go
but
ahead.
also
Go ahead.
I wanted to show that I'm conscious about striking a balance as well. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Like, you have the family life, you have the team. Yes, it's all one from the grand scheme of things, but you still
Right.
have to know how to separate each time for itself. You know what I'm saying? So
I
that's
definitely
why we're
get that.
touching on it as well.
I definitely get that. So on the album, we see a lot of BVI talent. BVI
Mm.
talent, all BVI, VI talent in general,
Yeah, it was in it,
just
yeah.
all through it. Now, how was that process? I know on the third pillar, you had a few features, but not as much as this one. Tell me your
Right.
thought process behind of that. And how was that process for you?
Okay, so just to give you a scope on things, the reason that the third pillar only had 3 features,
Mm-hmm.
including Lex and Tia, so that's about 5 features,
Okay.
is because that was the first studio album, and I wanted to give at least 80% of me. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I wanted to do the choruses, the verses, everything. As far as Vision Builds Kingdoms, I wrote the whole project. So even if you listen and you hear artists doing some choruses, I wrote the chorus and
Okay.
sent them the sample so
Okay.
they can go ahead and re-record. In certain instances where, like Priceless, Alyssa, Ayaz, where it has a bridge section, they wrote that, and they
Okay.
wrote their voices as well. But other than that, we wrote the album first and then recorded it, and then we went into producers mode. So
Okay.
when I was finished recording the album, at that point, we didn't know who going to be on what, who we going
Right.
to reach out to. It was just KillaTooma. And that's where we went into producer mode, because I like to think of Wolfpack Entertainment as where producers, we have the air, we know, you know what I'm saying? For instance, Priceless, he would be perfect for alumni, and you'll see exactly why, you know what I'm saying? So that's just one instance. And then that's how basically we do it. We would listen, live with it for a while, and be
Right.
like, yo, dog, like out of nowhere, one day we'll just be chilling, and I'd be like, dog, pressure for ride. Boom. And then we'll start to reach out to whoever. So that's usually how it happened.
So it's really and truly a process. So really and truly, that 4 years would definitely worth it. I would say, and well, at least I would think it was worth it. Haven't heard the album as yet, but definitely looking forward to it.
I appreciate that, man.
Definitely looking forward. So before we wrap up, anything else you want to say? April 23rd.
Yeah.
The people are waiting.
I know they're waiting, and it's that time, man. It's that time, like hard work. As you said, 4 years, basically 4 years.
Yeah.
And just having that vision while writing, and not just going there and just writing a song here, writing a song here. They don't have nothing to do with each other. Vision Builds Kingdoms is a cohesive body of work.
Okay.
And just a little insight real quick of how much so it's a body of work. We've had discussions internally about maybe we should put out 3 singles. It's 20 songs, so let's put out 3 singles, let the people chew on it, this and that. But I was so adamant on not doing that, just based on the fact that it was written to be heard, at least initially, as a cohesive body of work from 1 to 20. You know what I'm saying? You'll really be able to appreciate the journey. It's literally a journey, going from track 1 to the last track. So it's a lot of intricate details that went into it. And I just hope that everybody appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait to see what the favorites are. I think I kind of know already, but I could be dead wrong. Sometimes I'll be dead wrong. Yeah, so really and truly, this album, when we're waiting up for it, because I'll be waiting for it to drop, where can we find it? Like, okay, so that can be everywhere on the 23rd. That can be everywhere digital. Like you can name from now till whenever it's there. Okay. And then later this year, we can look into doing the physicals and stuff like that. Okay. So as far as the physicals, that'll be later on, but digitally, it'll be everywhere. So on the 23rd, this is like 12 a.m. the 23rd or 12 p.m. the 23rd. Like, I'm really not trying to wait up at 12 p.m. That's a good question. I don't want to give a definitive answer. So we're gonna let the people know, because I need to know. I know you can be the 23rd, but as soon as they strike 12, like, I don't know. Okay. 23rd, it should be up. Maybe I'm being a little bit too ambitious, but it's okay. That's cool. It's okay. I'm just an eager fan, just waiting, but it's all right. Okay, I can wait. But honestly, Tooma, it's been a really good conversation. It's really good catching up with you, and I really think that we have to catch up again for another conversation. But today was just all about Vision Builds Kingdom, April 23rd, 2021. Yes, I am Kyla Kinisha, and of course we're here with KillaTooma. Vision Builds Kingdom. Bye. I go hard for the